Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I am glad you made it. We all know that the VA is going under major changes with regard to its operations and changes in headcount and all of that. The VA, have launched a department-wide review on some additional things. And I wanted to throw this out there to you because I think it's important that we understand the direction and what is happening at the VA as it directly impacts us, right? So if the VA makes changes here, what sort of effects are we going to see on, we'll call it the user side, right? We are the customer of the VA, and it's good to know what's going on, whether it's good stuff, bad stuff, in between stuff. Just want to share it with you. Before we jump into it, though, I did want to throw out a special thank you to Sean Zernikow, I think that's how you say it. Sean Zernikow, 1682. Sean, thank you. Sorry I screwed up your last name. I'm sure I did. Zernikow, I think is how it is. Thank you so much for the super comment, super chat thing. I really do appreciate the support very much, Sean. I appreciate you. Have a great one. All right, so let's jump back into this. The headline here that I found on Government Executive is what I want to share with you, and we'll dive into it, see what we can uncover, all of that. The headline is VA launches a department-wide review of its mission. Now, if you remember right, the mission statement from the VA shifted. And in fact, I should probably pull that up, read to you the old one, the new one, and see if this is in regard to that. I would think that if you're talking about its mission and you have a mission statement, kind of points you in the right direction, I don't know. It seems like those two things would be linked up well. So, VA launches a department-wide review of its mission as it seeks changes to its operations. Veterans Affairs is no longer planning mass layoffs. 30,000 is still massive, but major changes still expected. All right. Again, this came out on Government Executive, July 21st, sharing it with you here today. I am going to pull up the old mission statement, new mission statement, and then we'll dive into this specific article. All right, so I found the actual news release from the VA that came out March 16th, 2023. This was under VA Secretary Dennis McDonough, and basically, it's not too long here. So I'm just going to read this thing to you so it gives a little bit of, I guess, a backdrop on the change. So it says, new VA mission statement, and again, this was in 2023, so a couple years ago. A new VA mission statement recognizes sacred commitment to all veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. Today, which was then, March 16th, 2023, the Department of Veterans Affairs announced an updated version of its 1959 mission statement. The new mission statement is, this is the new one, to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for those who have served in our nation's military and for their families, caregivers, and survivors. So I'm a fan of that. And the reason why is because it takes numbers to get legislation passed, right? If you're a small, tiny group that doesn't affect the voting block, in my opinion, sometimes it's hard to get things through Congress. And for veterans, everything that we have is really tied to legislative efforts, right? So the more the merrier. And just to put that in perspective before I read the old one, the idea here is that, like, let's say that there's 7 million veterans that are receiving disability compensation. So disabled veterans, 7 million, according to the VA-ish numbers. So 7 million, that's not very much. So then when you say veterans as a whole, we're talking 17 or 18 million, okay? That's better, a better number to talk when you are saying this is going to impact the community, right? You don't want to say this impacts disabled veterans, 7 million. This impacts veterans, 17, 18 million. This impacts veterans, spouses, survivors, dependents, caregivers, Now all of a sudden you're talking 40, 45 million. That's a big number. That's a number that can cause people to really think, right, about what is the right thing to do and what sort of implications there may be if you don't do the right thing. All right, so I'm going to skip through a lot of this stuff on the actual news release here, and I'm going to skip to the previous statement portion so you understand. Again, so I'll read the new one more time, then we'll jump into the old one just to make sure that everybody remembers. So the new one is to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for those who have served in our nation's military and for their families, caregivers, and survivors. All right, so the old one, the previous mission statement was to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for him who shall have borne the battle and for his widow and orphan. The previous mission statement is posted in roughly 50% of VA facilities over the coming months, which, again, this was 2 years ago. The VA's mission statement will be replaced with a new one. So, it still says to fulfill President Lincoln's promise, right? To care for him who shall have borne the battle, a veteran, and his widow, so survivor, and his orphan, so also surviving dependent. So they've excluded in this statement caregivers, right, and spouses and dependents as the veteran is still living. So anyway, it kind of wraps it up a little bit more in the issue of clarity, I think, of who the VA actually serves, which, in my opinion, helps legislatively, right? If you keep echoing that message that it's 40 million, 45 million potential impacted versus 7 million disabled veterans. All right, so let's jump into this. The VA launches this department-wide review of its mission as it seeks changes to its operations. All right, I'm curious to see where this goes. While the Veteran Affairs Department has called off mass layoffs of its workforce, senior leaders are telling employees that major changes are still coming. VA plans to have cut 30,000 employees by the end of September of 2025, down from its original plan of chopping 80,000 workers and eliminating the need for large-scale reductions in force. The department is now launching a VA-wide review of its mission and structure. Christopher Cyrick, I'm not sure how you say it, the department chief of staff, said in a memorandum last week, with the aim of improving operational efficiency. Cyrick noted the memo formally canceled the one he had sent out in March, which established the goal of 80,000 cuts through layoffs. He said the new review will be informed by the process of preparing for RIFs, suggesting VA gained a host of new ideas for better serving veterans, and it will continue to use its authority to to reorganize. While large-scale RIFs are off the table, he said, VA is not done improving and continues to pursue organizational reform. And I would agree. Think about this. You get called in, you are now running the VA, right? And you want to make it, I would think that everybody wants to make their organization run better and smoother and all of that good stuff. Make it more efficient, make it do its job better. So let's just have that in our mind. Then you get in there, you start rolling up your sleeves, and then all of a sudden you're told by your boss, right, essentially, that, hey, look, we need to cut X number of employees. All of a sudden, all of your good ideas in trying to make things, better, smoother, faster, whatever it is, shift a little bit, and you start to focus on, okay, well, who can I even cut, right? And how do we accomplish that? And so now you have these two kind of things going on at the same time. Now, fast forward, whatever it's been, 6-7 months, now the dust is starting to settle. There's a clear path, it seems, to hit the 30,000 by September. The line in the sand has been drawn. I believe that was an actual conversation, that 30,000 is really the number, and we can't really move past that. So now here we are moving forward. Now all of a sudden, the shift of focus can change from, okay, how do we reduce? How do we deal with that? What is the collateral damage that's going to happen? Getting blasted from everywhere and trying to come up with answers is difficult. So now you're shifted to, okay, that's behind us. Now let's think about how we can improve the organization, with most of our time focused on that now. So moving on, it says, as one example of upcoming changes, Christy Groves, head of the VHA, the Veterans Health Administration, Quality and Patient Safety Office, told staff on Thursday she was working with VHA senior leadership on the agency restructuring. Groves told employees to expect new organizational charts by the end of last week, and that the resulting staffing makeups would be released in the coming days. One theme emerging from those conversations, she said, is that VA is looking to empower medical center directors. Several employees, based on meetings and internal conversations, speculated headquarters and possibly regional staff could be a casualty of that change. VA has said only it will not. I don't know. VA has said only it will not. I guess there should be a comma. VA has said only it will not conduct a large-scale RIF, but employees remain concerned more targeted layoffs could still take place. One worker, a nurse who is currently serving at VA Central Office rather than in a clinical position, suggested she could be moved elsewhere. Employees without clinical backgrounds may have less job security. Stephen Braverman, VHA's chief operating officer, has told staff to expect reduced footprints in call centers, human resources, regional offices known as Veteran Integrated Service Networks, or VISNs, and the IT office, according to an employee that was part of those briefings. A small group of regional leaders are meeting this week in Nashville to discuss the current state of affairs in operations and look for opportunities to improve efficiency, according to VA official familiar with the plans. VA in March stood up a reorganization implementation cell made up of senior leaders such as those meeting in Nashville to draft RIF plans and determine the future structure of the department. Those involved in the meeting were forced to sign non-disclosure agreements, of course. One official that participated said it was unclear how the new review CIRIC announced last week would differ from those efforts, but they hoped it would not lead to a change in scope to existing dialogues. Groves told employees not to expect any sudden changes. We're being told that this will be a thoughtful journey and will take time, and it'll take time to make those changes, she said. With that concludes it. Just wanted to bring you up to speed with everything. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.